What if I told you that one of the biggest mistakes that you're making in your life today is one that you don't even realize that you're making, and yet it's a mistake that holds you back from getting to where you want to be? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to correct that mistake and start to take proactive steps towards designing the life that you want to live. Did you realize that you're optimizing the wrong life? I know how strange that may sound to hear, but it's the truth. I meet people every day that are trying to redesign their life, to create the life that they want to live, to reach those goals, to achieve those dreams. And yet when we sit down and break it down, we realize very quickly that they're optimizing the wrong life. They're not starting from the right point. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make time and time again. You're not working on the right life. You're optimizing the wrong life. Let me explain what I mean by that. These people are often optimizing a life that was never aligned in the first place. So that's why when they go to make these changes and design the life that they want to live, things don't seem to work as well as they hoped they would. Those new plans, those new routines, those new systems don't stick because they fall into what I call the optimization trap. This is the key problem. We live in a culture that's obsessed with improvement, with fixing things, with making things better. I realize YouTube is full of it. And I know that that sounds a bit ironic coming from me on YouTube, but that's why my system is quite different, because I don't necessarily try and provide you with those systems that you can add on to your life. I help you to fix the foundation so that you can build the life that's right for you. I can never give you a guided blueprint on how to make a perfect life because it's your life. You need to be the architect of that. You need to be the designer of that. So my job and my role, I see it as being able to provide you with these perspectives, to be able to provide you with these insights from the worlds of design and creativity and experience so that you can take a more analytical view of your life, a more analytical view of where you are so that you can start building in the correct way, that you can start building a life that works for you. And like I said, we live in this world that's obsessed with optimization. We want to optimize everything. We've got trackers and we optimize our calendars and our sleep patterns and our dreams and our routines and our exercise, and everything is about optimization. And I get it. On the surface, this looks like progress. This looks like you're doing something. I went out and bought a fitness watch. I'm tracking my sleep. I'm tracking my exercise. I'm tracking my steps. I'm moving towards where I want to be in terms of my fitness goals. That's correct. That gives you that impression of movement. And yet these people who are so good at dialing in every aspect of their life, of optimizing all the pieces, are often the people that come to me and sit across from me on a table and say, I feel so off, something doesn't feel right, and it doesn't make sense. Because we've become so good at improving our systems, we've never stopped to ask questions. We've never stopped to actually ask, are we optimizing the right thing? Are we starting from the right starting point? Or are we optimizing the wrong life? Because there is a real difference between a system that's running well and a system that's running well in the wrong direction. And I'm sure you would all agree with that fact. People are upgrading for speed and efficiency before they actually stop to consider where they want to go. And this is the biggest mistake that most people make in trying to build the life that they want to live. So here's the reframe I want you to do. Not every problem is an optimization problem. Some problems are alignment problems. Again, in a world obsessed with optimization, we often think that that's the solution. Let's get a new book, a new podcast, a new method. Let's find something to try and fix what I think is broken. But that's not always the answer. Some problems are alignment problems. And what's the difference between the two? Well, an optimization problem asks the question, how can I do this better? How can I do it more efficiently? Whereas an alignment problem is about asking the question, should I be doing this at all? Is it actually what I need to be doing in my life today or in this present situation? And those two questions, those require completely different solutions. If your problem is about optimization, then you need systems, you need routines, you need tweaks, you need efficiency, and you can find them. But if your problem deep down is actually an alignment problem, then none of those other things will touch it. None of those other things will address it. So you can start to see where the problems come up here. Do you have an alignment problem, or do you have an optimization problem? Really take the time to ask yourself this question. What are you trying to address? So that you can apply the best solution to that. Now again, I can't tell you what the best solution is for you, but I can help you by asking this question. When you do consider the two options and consider which one is right for you and which situation you're currently in, then you can start to find the answers that will work for you. And then you will start to take positive steps forward in creating the life that you want to live. Because you can't optimize your way out of a misaligned life. That's why I get back to talking about the foundation. Once you've started on that wrong foot, no matter how good you are at optimizing things, you can't get your way out of it. It's a shaky foundation. You only get more efficient at living the wrong life, at optimizing the wrong life. And that's a problem because it leads you away from where you want to be. So what does misalignment actually look like? I think this is an important distinction to make, because alignment is when the way you spend your time, your attention, or your energy matches what actually matters to you. This is really important. The way that you spend your time connects with what matters to you. That's being aligned. Because when those things line up, you feel it. You feel that feeling of connection. So if you are feeling lost, it's most likely because you are misaligned in some areas of your life. Optimization improves performance. Alignment improves direction. And if the direction is wrong, then the performance is irrelevant. This is really important, and this is the core of today's video. I want you to get off on the right foot. I want you to be spending that effort, that strategy, spending all of those great ideas on building upon something that's firm to start with, building on something that's aligned. So I've designed an alignment check, a way for you to get back to basics, to ask yourself a couple of questions that can help you to see how you're feeling and how aligned you actually are. I'm not going to be telling you to quit your job and move to the mountains, become a hermit, or do anything like that. This is about asking yourself some more honest, quiet questions about connecting with what matters internally to you. So I want you to ask this question of yourself. What am I currently optimizing my life for? What is the reason behind it? What am I working towards through all of this incessant optimization and efficiency? What am I working towards delivering? Am I doing it for optimization's sake? Or am I doing it for something else? What speaks to me in here deep down? And then ask yourself, do I want more of that in my life? Is that really what drives me with purpose? When you connect down to that deeper sense of who you are and what you want to achieve and what you want to build. Because then you can ask the question, are those optimizations, are those efficiencies actually connecting with what really matters? Are they helping to take you towards that? Or are they taking you away from it? Because that first question is designed to reveal your actual priorities. And the second question is where honesty lives. Ask yourself, is that actually what you want in your life? Or are you just saying it is because of how the world operates? I've got this great chart here. Often when I find people are optimizing for productivity, they actually want calm. They want visibility, they actually want meaning. If they want to optimize to achieve a lot, they actually want connection with people. They want people to acknowledge the achievements that they've made. Or if they're optimizing for efficiency, they actually want a creativity. They want to do new things. They want to test themselves. So read through this table. Start to think about what really matters to you. And are you building your life around that? And if you are, that's great. You've started from the right point. Continue to check in on that, to come back, to keep asking yourself that question. But if you realize that these optimizations that you're making in life aren't helping you to connect with what matters, then perhaps you need to go back to what truly matters. What's important to you? What do you want to build your life around? Because I promise you, once you start building around that, things become easier because you're walking the path that you want to be on. You're moving in the direction that you want to be moving in. Everything becomes easier, more connected, more meaningful. Because it's in the gap between these columns where exhaustion comes in. If you're constantly pulling and pushing against yourself, you get tired, you get burnt out. So you can't achieve those things that you want to achieve. You can't get that sense that you want to get to. And that's where people feel disconnected. That's when people get that sense that something's not quite right. So take the time to ask yourself honestly this question, and then start to make the right steps for you. But remember, once you see this gap, you don't need to rip everything apart. You don't need to start over. It's not about a huge rechange. You don't need to go right back to the start. Because a lot of the things you would have learned, a lot of the things you would have been through would have taught you valuable lessons that you can now use going forward. Start to make small changes to reconnect with what matters, to align yourself around what matters. Because a small shift in direction, a small shift back towards what matters won't look like much at the start. And this is an important almost warning for everyone. Yeah, it's not a drastic change. It's a small change. It's slowly moving you back towards where you need to be. But each step towards reconnecting and realigning with what matters takes you towards where you need to get to. You need to remember that. That's what alignment does. It brings everything into focus and makes sure that you're actually going in the direction that you need to be going in. You're connected, you're aligned, and that's a great thing to be. I've been doing a lot of videos recently talking about the design systems and the approach to design that I go through in my work and that I know works in the redesigning of lives. And one of the most common elements that comes up time and time again is really understanding you, really getting into connection with who you are and what matters to you. Because once you realize that, once you have that alignment and you can see what you connect with and what you want to be moving towards, then everything tends to fall in place around it. Decisions become easier and you start to feel lighter each and every day. Again, I said it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to have a complete drastic change and everything's all of a sudden going to snap from one to the other in a matter of hours. That doesn't happen like that. But I promise you, once you come back to who you are, once you take the time to reconnect, you will start taking those positive steps forward. You will start applying the systems that you read about and that you hear about out there in the world to greater effect. They will start to change your life. I promise you. I want you to build the life that you want to live. I want you to create the life and design the life that you want to live, not what anyone else wants you to live. It's your life, and it's a wonderful thing. Thank you for taking the time to share with me this week. If you want more information on any of these other videos, check out my channel, subscribe, follow along, and I've got lots more great content coming. But for right now, thank you. Take that time, find what matters, connect to it, and transform your life.